We are the singer and the hypnotist.
We're here because we want you to join us.
Together, we will assist each other on our journey to be more persistent
and consistent, holding each other accountable
to reach all of our goals.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast. My name's Hadlin.
And I'm Saul.
And we're the singer and the hypnotist.
Can you guess which one is which?
I'm the singer. I'm just kidding. Never ask me to sing ever. 100% you will regret it, and I won't even do it anyway, so don't worry.
We're going to make Hadlin sing sometime on this podcast.
No. See, the thing is, I may be a hypnotist, but you can't hypnotize me. I'm unhypnotizable.
Is that the way it works?
No, it's just the way I work.
I
cannot be hypnotized, but I hypnotize other people.
I was hypnotized once.
Yeah?
Yeah, in 11th grade.
Nice.
I only made it like halfway into hypnotism. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like I felt like I was hypnotized, but I was almost still conscious of it.
Oh, yeah.
So I felt like maybe I was playing along a little bit.
So that, yeah, you're thinking about it too much and you pulled yourself out of it where you were already there.
I was.
Because that feeling already is exactly what it is.
That's fair. And I do that a lot. There's a lot of things where I do that, where I outthink the experience, and it's annoying. I just want to experience. I want to get hypnotized. Oh, no. He's going to hypnotize me. Oh, no.
Awesome. Not today, though.
Not today.
Future episode.
Yes.
Future episode will, this is the first one.
This is number one.
Thank you for tuning in.
Yes.
And, yeah, this is... Did it crash?
No, the camera did. What?
But the audio's still there?
We're still audio-wise.
Okay, so everybody, you can see a nice picture of some mountains as we get the camera back up and running. Oh, there it is. Ladies, gentlemen, welcome back. We're back.
We're back. We back, baby.
So we are getting recording and everything of the
we are. Yeah, this is the video.
Nice.
Yes, so they did see the mountains.
Saw the mountains, the desktop. You have this most standard desktop background.
I do.
It's you need to update it, I think, a little bit.
Well, it was a personal picture for a while, and I had to change that. Circumstances changed, so I just went back to the regular. I don't know what do you put as your background. Something that inspires you, obviously.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying all that, but if you look at mine, I've got the default already.
Still do. Default, but a couple of default bitches right here.
Well, it's the way we roll. What's up, everybody?
That's the place to look.
That's the place.
Yes.
This is episode 1. I feel like we're allowed to be, not exactly perfect.
Yeah, I think that neither of us really, maybe we've listened to a lot of podcasts or we've watched a lot of interview type shows, but I'd say that in terms of doing it, neither of us have. I guess you did a podcast for a while, so you have more experience with it, but it is,
I think we got to episode 60.
60?
Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I think 60 or 61.
Wow.
It was called the Cerebral Mind Control Podcast. It was just a solo podcast. I don't know. It just was the wrong name and brand.
Right.
I feel.
Right.
And it was too narrow in what I could talk about and the guests that I could have on and the questions that I could ask.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah.
Whereas this one is a lot more broad and we can talk about more anything, actually.
Anything. This is just
anything and everything.
It's just me and you as our passions, I guess. And it's kind of,
you're going to be one of the world's best musicians
one day. When I get to 60 podcast episodes, then I will be the world's best musician.
We're going to be there in no time.
You're right.
So you're going to be the world's best in 2 months?
2 months? Whoa.
It won't be every day for 2 months.
Let's go.
But what is our schedule? Every Friday, at least once a week?
At least once a week would be nice because it's not hard.
Mm-hmm.
We actually live in the same building.
Mm-hmm.
I live in the lower area and you live in the higher area of this building, and we often work together, and we often just like meet up and sort of motivate each other. We have quick meetings, like
Yeah, and the thing is, we should have been hitting record and filming all of those meetings, because we get into some good, amazing stuff.
yes, we do.
Very thought-provoking conversations, and
Yeah,
I feel like that's content we missed out on,
Yeah.
but doesn't matter. We're here now.
we're here now. That's kind of where this idea, I guess, came from. Is like, Hadlin did his podcast before, and I would go for my morning walks, and I would like just talk to myself on my morning walks and like pretend I was doing a podcast. So I started wanting to do a podcast, and then talked to Hadlin about it, and he was just like, "Yeah, man, like let's collaborate on that." And
Yeah, because what better way for people like us that can't really collaborate,
yeah,
but we can collaborate because we both talk.
we both talk.
We both speak. We both converse.
We do that, and we do a lot of it with each other already.
Mhm.
And yeah, we usually, like, I find we'll have these little meetings, and they're, you get the thoughts stewing, and by the end of it, I feel like we both walk away like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Yeah, we might be drinking coffee,
What?
but like by the end of the meeting,
Yes.
it's like we just had 10 cups of coffee and we're like dialed in, and we just fucking go.
This is the truth.
And we're like,
Very
we
much.
motivate each other, and then all of a sudden we just take action
Yeah.
on exactly what we were talking about before.
Yeah. So what should we get into here?
I don't know. I feel like we're already in.
We are into it, but
We are in. I just really like the way
your voice sounds.
I can hear myself right now. It's weird.
You know what?
I know.
I forgot one switch on this mic that
Is
so
it
right
this one?
right now, don't hit any switches, it'll be bad. Not that one. The difference between you probably
I
know.
want to know what it is now. I'm gonna hit that switch one
Oh
day.
my god. It's going to kill everybody's ears. The difference between our voices right now, there's a thing that basically cuts the low end to the bottom of your voice. And
Low end.
I forgot to switch his off. So you're getting a real beefy version of his voice right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that low end.
Right.
Yeah.
Just makes me sound very, very masculine
Yeah.
or something.
So next time I'll make sure to cut that off, because he sounds way more masculine than me right now. So I don't know. I don't know about that shit.
Should I just talk? Change my voice a little? I can't even do it.
You could
Should I change my voice a little bit?
a little more. Oh,
Oh no.
Yes.
So Saul, you're on Freestyle Friday episode 23. Awesome.
You were
It's a crazy journey.
It's been a crazy journey. Actually, posting this morning, thinking about like how you said you got to episode 60 of your podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's honestly a really crazy thing to get to number 23 and be like, oh, I've done this for 23 weeks in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And this morning, here and there, I'll like post some, like mostly I post some, I don't think about it. But then every once in a while, like I'll start going back through them and watching them. And I'm just like, wow. It's mind-blowing. It's mind-boggling. Yeah.
Well, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
I know exactly. That's just wait though. Like 23, you're at Michael Jordan's number, but you're gonna be in the triple digits, the quadruple digits, in 3 years. No, sorry, that's 6 years. No, wait. I'm doing weird math, everybody. Whoa, I used to be good at math, but then I didn't need to use it anymore.
Then he became a magician, and that died.
Oh boy. Okay, never mind. You'll be in triple digits.
There are
in
52 weeks
2 years.
in a year.
So you're almost halfway through a year.
That's
Man.
fucked. That's
Why can't I do that math? That's so simple.
so we this is not a math podcast.
No.
Don't ask us in the Twitch comments to do math. That would be just wrong. Well, we got phones here. We got
2 plus 2
calculators.
is 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Done. Yeah. It's been a good journey. It's been a growing journey, and I gotta say the collaboration is where it's at. Like I used to only collaborate with pretty much one dude, and I was just super loyal in my mind. I was like, yeah, him and I have this magic chemistry, and I have to stick to this formula because it works. And then in the last year or so, like, wow, good one. Good. Move the mic. That was nice. Nice touch.
Oh no, man.
You're dying.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's okay.
That coffee
you okay?
just went.
Are you okay? Wrong.
I like tried to breathe. Man, I forgot how to do math, and I forgot how to breathe and drink, but separately, not at the same time. I forgot you're not supposed to do this. Jeez, what's going on?
Podcasting is it takes a lot of your focus. You know?
Oh boy, what's up, everybody? Okay, sorry, interrupted you.
That's
Continue,
okay.
please, because this is compelling.
Yeah, there should be. But if you have to cough, don't hold it back. That's the number one rule of podcasting. If you need to cough into the mic, do it, and if it deafens everybody,
Just away.
So for the last year, I don't know, my life, you just grow up. You grow up. It just happens. You can't help it. You know what I mean? You just fucking, it's like it's a numbers game or an age game. Like you just experience this shit and then you're like, you know what? I got to start expanding my reaches. So got really into collaborating and like being able, I know you said like it's not easy for us to collaborate because you're a magician. I'm a musician and I have been mistaken. I've told people I'm a musician before, and they're like, "Oh, you're a magician?"
This is the exact same thing.
It's bullshit.
Like, they say the same thing every time I say I'm a magician. They're like, "Oh, what instrument do you play?" Wait, your brain?
Your brain. Oh. Yeah. So collaborating, like doing that collaboration with me, to me, like to be able to look back on that. I look back very fondly on that one. It's just cool.
The Freestyle Friday, episode 22.
Yes.
Which, check it out if you haven't already.
Yes.
I freestyled some magic in there. I know a lot of people are like, wait, what? Freestyle magic? Yeah, you can do it. You just do random moves and you put it together. I don't know.
But you have to.
What it is.
You have to be where you're at with like magic. I would think to be able to, you have to freestyle something. You have to get to a certain level of talent where you don't have to really think about it as much.
I would have much rather performed like something more polished.
Fair.
And like planned out the entire minute and did like crazy stuff.
Fair.
But
that's not the
what
shit.
it is.
That's not the shit. It's freestyling, bro. I thought it worked out cool.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool element.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Cool video.
Yeah.
We just got to do more now.
Yeah, we do.
So I feel like we did find a way to collaborate in that way.
Yes, I agree. And like you said, planning, like, I like the idea of planning something out. So we could do a full video where I'm whatever performing, doing the looping stuff, walking around, and then we plan something out where you actually perform something badass. That would be really cool.
I'm thinking of some things right now, actually, as you said that.
It's happening. It's happening.
Like, without going into too much depth, it's like you're doing that, and then we could like make a full video out of it where it's like it reaches beyond here and it continues on. It's like almost like a music video for the song that you create.
Ooh. Oh.
But like performing magic, and then all of a sudden now we're out in the world, different scenes, different places.
I like that.
Just rough concept.
Yeah.
But like I can kind of envision a few, like
I
for
see
instance, like what if like you're here, you're making some music, performing something, and then all of a sudden we're at a coffee shop, for instance, and I like pull out a bill or a blank piece of paper, turn it into a bill, hand it to the barista, and then like you're on the stage. And I'm thinking like underground or something.
Yeah.
And you're on the stage
and
playing,
I'm performing that song.
and you can, yeah, and then it's like different locations, different things, and then like it's a very rough idea, but like
Yeah.
it's the starting of something.
I like that. That's the kind of the one thing I will say about you, Hadlin, is if there were kids in school who were afraid to put up their hands and like ask questions or suggest ideas, you were not that. Because that's something I really respect about you, is anytime that we meet up, you're not afraid to like, oh, something's happening, boom, idea. And you'll do it like, if I ever feel like I'm stuck on something, you'll be like, well, what about this? What about that? What about that?
Man,
what about that?
I was the opposite when I was in school. I did not put my hand up. I did not want any attention. If I had the attention of 2 or more people, my face turned beet red.
Damn.
I shied away. I was shy.
Yeah.
100%. I stayed away from attention as much as possible. Didn't put up my hand. I just would hope that someone else would ask the same question. So then I would, which weirdly enough, I had really good grades, and it almost always worked out where someone asked the exact question that was on my mind. So I never had.
Mentalism at a young age. He doesn't know it.
Hey.
He was incepting their minds. He was sitting in that classroom and he was like, Timmy, ask the fucking question, because I'm not gonna. Please, Timmy.
You got to do it, man.
You gotta do it.
Take one for the team.
That's what he now does for a living. It's no different.
And it's fun. Yeah, I started that after school too. Like the performing of it and like
I'm impressed.
Diving into it.
I'm impressed that
Hardcore.
you've come this far, because I've only met you at this point in your life, so I don't know.
Just starting still. Just starting.
Yeah, as we all are, right? Yeah, it's funny. It's funny because Hadlin and I met at, I'd say, like the later steps of both of our lives. I know for sure, like, hearing that sort of triggers some things in me where I'm like, like 5 years ago, I don't know if we would have lined up as much as we did, or as much as we do now, because I was not in the head frame that I am now. I really wanted to be. The idea of who I wanted to be was there, and I would like really struggle with that because I wasn't living up to what I knew I could be or what I wanted to be. Right. And so I think we met at like the later stages, where like a really pivotal time, where now we're both not only putting in the action, but like
we're both determined to make it happen no matter what.
We are.
Like whatever it takes, we're doing it. So like, yeah, we got this podcast. We're producing it.
Yeah.
Making it happen. And we're just gonna keep going as long as we possibly can. We're gonna be consistent, so at least once a week, and like just pump out content, work hard, grind.
Don't stop. And don't like. That leads me into a point that I would love to make, is that just like, it's not about the end goal.
It's about the journey.
It's about the journey. It's about every step of the way. Like, Hadlin walked into the room, started fucking getting all these lights going, and, I could tell he was locked into that process. And normally when I work, I'm working in an environment where I'm doing most of the production. And so I'm usually doing everything, but like having him walk in and just like lock into that, all of a sudden I got really inspired, and it was like, oh, this is really cool. Now I can focus on this side of the production, you focus on that. And in that moment I was like, man, I'm just having fun with this process. I'm not worried about like, cool, when the podcast happens, great. Or like if we put the podcast out and people look at it, awesome, whatever. It's that's what I find is just like triggering, using things in life to create experiences. That's what the Freestyle Fridays are about, to create these moments where, like, me and you, we don't know what the fuck we're going to do, but we do something, and then we look back and it's like, wow, that was a cool experience, and it pulled me into the moment, in that moment. And that's what I feel like right now in this podcast is like, would we have had this conversation had we not done this podcast?
No, I don't think so.
Probably not.
Maybe like facets of it
Yeah.
here and there throughout the next couple weeks,
Yeah.
perhaps more months.
Yeah. But this is just an opportunity for us to sit down. You're not doing anything else. We're not distracted by, I'm not making food or something, you know. You don't have any other things on your mind that you're going to run off and do or whatever.
I am thinking about food though,
That's fair.
because you got me on this intermittent fasting thing, and I'm almost at that time where I can't eat anymore. So I need to eat.
This is a real thing, and I haven't eaten yet.
Oh my God.
So we eat for 8 hours. It's not that hard. You fast for 16 hours of the day, and then you eat for an 8-hour period. It's not a hard thing. It's really not once you get into it.
It actually isn't hard, yeah. Like, I haven't had an issue with it, except for I just know that I want to eat. And I need to figure that out.
But that's a real thing though, because you have your 8-hour window, and you're like, oh, right? You said like, shit, I'm almost up on my 8 hours here. Like, I got to make sure I get in that last meal.
But I extended the beginning of it today.
Yeah.
Because I had an appointment.
Yeah.
So in theory, that allows me to eat later, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it works. It doesn't matter when you do the 8 hours, right? As long as it's just 8 hours. And when I was in, like, right now, I would say I'm slacking a little bit. I'm still hitting my fasting goals, but I've been eating late. I've been staying up late. I just get into the artist mindset, get lost in whatever.
I've been
Yeah.
waking up like super early since the beginning, maybe like the 4th or 5th day of the year, up at 4 or 5 every day.
That's insane.
And like, I don't know, man, it feels great. Like, I used to be staying up like for the last month of last year, I'd be staying up till like 5 in, and then I'd like sleep
All day.
until like 2 or 3, even 6 p.m. once. And that was the point where I was like, man, I didn't even see the sun. That was a problem. I couldn't do that anymore. So
Yeah.
I just like, I know what I need to do. I know what needs to happen. I know what I need for my brand to be successful. And I need to be healthy.
Yeah.
So instead of just like changing like a couple things progressively, I'm just changing everything at once. So waking up, new workout program, new diet, new podcast.
New podcast.
Which is great because like now us working together, you keep me accountable, I keep you accountable.
Yeah.
Like you started Freestyle Friday, you're at 23. You have your own Twitch
Yes.
channel aside from this.
Yes. Well, Hadlin was actually the guy who suggested, we had a meeting. He was going to bring me on to work with him on his Broadway theater show. And
Sleight of mind.
Yeah. Awesome show, by the way. But during that first meeting, we were talking content strategies, and you mentioned, oh, you like to freestyle. You should do something called the Freestyle Friday. And a lot of people could say shit to me like that, and it's not going to click. I don't know. It's just the way that you say those kind of things. It's the way we
I have
work.
the video of that too.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Wow. So that's the kind of thing, like, I know that but Hadlin was like, yeah, okay, you want to do this? I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to fucking do it. Hands down. He's like, okay, I'm putting it in my phone. Like, I'll see that on Friday, and I'll see the next one too, right? And it's like, to me, that's all I really needed was one person like Hadlin to be like, yo, you're accountable now.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, yeah, I'm accountable. So I've gotten this far, and habits and having somebody to push you in that way, I agree. And even just like you living here and taking on the habits in the way that you have, like I was hardcore into my habits before the end of the year. The end of the year, I went to my family visit my family in Vancouver, and we were in a small space, and like our habits as a family aren't the best habits in the world. Like they can be, but we ended up like eating junk food and kind of being lazy, and that I found pulled me a little bit, sucked me back into a little bit of laziness, which now I'm working on. But having you waking up super early, going hard on your habits, having that influence around, that's important for me. That's a big deal for me.
I like surrounding myself with people that motivate me. So that's why, man, you're dope.
You're dope. You're dope.
Thanks, dude. Thank you. And I like on that note too, I don't really hang out at all.
Yeah.
Really. I don't go out anymore. I'm like a hermit.
Yeah.
Unless I'm performing or at a meeting, I'm pretty much just at some sort of surface with a computer, wherever that may be.
Yeah.
That could be anywhere. And usually it's not around anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I work better when I just like have that focus. But anyways, I don't know where I was going with that.
I know exactly where you're going with that, because
there is something.
Well, you're saying that because I'm the same way. You're saying you're a hermit. I'm a hermit as well. Like I spend all of my time, like I work sound at a bar. That's the only thing that keeps me social. If I didn't have that, I would not be leaving the house. And that's like, it's an important thing, because it you learn a lot from other people. Like I'm really grateful for that, to be able to learn from the people that I'm around in that community. But it's like you said, like for me, if I'm hanging out, anytime I hang out with somebody, I want to do something. So it's like, okay, yeah, we can hang out, but let's create a song.
Mm-hmm.
Let's create a project. Mm-hmm. Like if I'm doing, I don't just want to like, yeah, Hadlin, let's get together and watch a show.
Yeah. Right.
Ha ha ha. No, we're getting together and we're creating a podcast, which I think comes down to just like those questions or the conversations that we have, where like this is a way for us to push the boundaries of our conversations. And I
kind of remember now.
Yeah.
So like it was about, how we surround yourselves with like-minded people that motivate you.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a hermit, I have a lot of inspiring people that I follow through the internet and consume their content, and it's like I'm hanging out with them.
Yes.
So even though like, yeah, okay, maybe there's not very many people that I surround myself with that are doing this sort of thing, like surround myself with in the sense that, you see them on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Like there's a ton of inspiring people in Saskatoon, and like I only know a fraction of them.
Yeah.
Which we're gonna meet as many as we possibly can on this podcast, on this journey. But what I'm saying is like, yeah, you can, like for me, maybe this is just me justifying my hermitness, but like, yeah, you get to hang out with these inspiring people, and you pull facets of their drive, the way that they think, and then you act upon it on your own business, on your own personal brand, whether that's, a musician or a hypnotist,
or any of you people out there who are doing anything that you're doing. It's just the concept of like, before we had social media, blah, 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 you'd go out on a quest. Well, how do you start a quest, you have no idea where to go. You're in medieval times. Mm-hmm. You walk into a fucking village and you go, hey, do you know anything about this? Like you're going to learn your knowledge along the way as you go, and kind of like I just relate that to where we're at now, which that's all we're doing is we have a quest, and we refer to these people who have quested. They've quested for many years, these people.
Okay. Yep.
And they've succeeded on many a quest.
And failed on even more.
You 100% failed on a lot of quests, yes. And we have to work at failing at our own quests to even come close to where they're at. And yeah, just like the one that I really like, that I've told you about 100 times, impact theory. And for anybody who's looking to, like, this is a shout out to impact theory because I love impact theory. And if anybody's looking to be inspired, look up impact theory. And for me, they're 40-minute episodes. And basically by the end of every one of these 40-minute episodes, I've taken condensed, like you said, this condensed, like they have 30 years of experience. And you condense that down into this 40-minute thing where you have somebody interviewing. We're talking to each other. I might be able to bring something out of you. So the interviewer asks this question, and it's just the way that that person who's quested all these years responds and just gives these little, these magical nuggets that you're just like, I could have searched my whole life
And never heard that.
and never heard that one thing that now, I can bring into my process, and it can speed me up 10, 20 steps, whatever. So same thing, like those interviews on YouTube, the impact theories, or books, right? Same thing. People condensing their information, and then just bringing that to our idea where it's like, well, yeah, we have all these friends online, and those are phenomenal people to look up to. And I think you and I will continue doing that the rest of our life.
Yep.
But it's about accessing now. There's all these phenomenal people around us that we can actually build relationships with, get to know better. We lost that again. You keep talking a little bit. I'm gonna fix. We lost our camera here.
Well, yeah, we're back to the mountainous scene that is the Mac OS default skin, as it were. So, yeah, we're back already. It didn't take too long. Saul's really good with this, so yeah, it was just instantaneous back in action.
Those mountains are a nice little break.
You know what? I wish this didn't go back so far. I feel like
you're chilling.
I'm like laying down.
I can't even chill that hard.
But like the thing is, if I just sit, it just goes.
Get the posture on.
I suppose we need different chairs, I think.
Yeah, I agree. We do. Well, I'm just going to hop on my point that I was making again. Accessing those people around us, because here's the thing is I can watch all these like really talented, amazing people. They have 100 interviews that I can watch. I can extrapolate a lot of information from them. But the people around town, I can't watch an interview on these people. They're local.
Not
yet. They're amazing. And one day, a lot of them, I can see like the amount of talent that we have here. One day those people are going to be the people who have 100 interviews. So it's about like, I think recognizing that like right now and just being like, maybe being the first to sort of access this information from these people.
Right. Exactly.
That's cool.
Exactly. So it's like selfless and selfish at the same time.
100%.
You know?
It all.
We're going to get some awesome information.
Yes.
And we're going to accelerate our growth.
Yes.
As individual artists.
Yes.
And as a whole, just for the audience too.
Yeah. For the community.
And what I'm really excited about, man,
yeah,
is like, okay, yeah, episode 1, not many viewers, I think.
We lost our thing. I know.
Yeah. So I saw that and I was like, is that 12?
Is that 12?
But that's decibels. Anyways, like looking back in a year from now, it's going to be really cool to be like, hey, that was our first episode.
Yeah.
And then, you know, if this pops, because who knows, it could pop. We don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we found the special secret recipe, as it were, to pop.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
And if it does, and somehow, you know, in a year, 2 years, whatever time frame it might be from now, this episode could be one of the most listened to episodes ever of our stuff.
right? Even though right now, I point over there. There's nothing. We have no idea how many people are tuned in. The funny thing is, we can log on, we can look, and each device says a different number.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
I don't think. I'm getting a commercial now. I don't think anybody's here, but that's not the point, because it's like you're saying, like,
No one's here live.
no one's here
But
live.
people are listening right now.
Oh, that trips me out.
Like, it's in the future, but they're still listening right now because they're hearing this right now.
Hello, future. How are you? I mean, I will listen to this in the future, because I do that. I listen back to my shit.
Man, I don't know if I'll ever listen to any of these again.
No? One and done?
I think so.
Yeah?
I'll soak it up once,
That's fair.
take some notes, and
That's fair.
I lied. I will listen to it more than once because we're going to be going through and chopping out pieces of this.
Yes.
Right, so
You're going to hear it.
So I'll probably listen to each episode at least once more.
Yeah.
Unless we can figure out a way to create timestamps on the go. So let's say that you or I or a guest says something very interesting that we know we want to keep and use as a separate piece of content, as a micro piece of content. Is there a way that we can be like, hey, like, is there a timer where we can just be like, hey, this is the timestamp?
I think so. Even as simple as, this is a real cheap ghetto way to do it. We just open up our phones
Mm-hmm.
and we start the timer, and then you can do laps. You know what I mean? Where you do like a ticker or a lap on your... You ever done that?
I don't know if I know what you mean.
Okay, well, I don't know if this is the right time to do this, but... No, not the timer. Stopwatch.
Stopwatch.
Stopwatch. So you get... For all those up there, you hit that stopwatch, and then when Hadlin says something noteworthy, you go, lap 1. We just did a lap. And then
Okay.
you have a timer, sort of.
And then it saves it?
Yeah.
Oh.
So then you have your laps. That's one way to do it.
That's smart, man.
That's
I like
just,
that.
That's
I
a
like that a
simple,
lot.
easy, no effort way to do
Simple, easy.
it.
Man, some of the best ideas are simple.
You're right.
Actually, all of them.
You're right. You're right.
They're always simple.
Yeah.
Of course, there's complicated ones. People are going to be like, yeah, well, not every single one.
But well, it's the same. Like, break it down in this way. Some of the most notable songs in the world are like 4 chords or super simple. But you
The
get
4-chord song?
4-chord song. They're nothing special in terms of like when you put a super fantastic musician, super trained in front of it, they'd be like, oh, this is nothing. But it's more when you are that sort of trained musician to that level that you start to really, I think, appreciate more intense music, more like jazz. Although I shouldn't say just talented musicians enjoy jazz. I think it's just a way. I've noticed that the way we take in things has a lot to do with our personalities. And I can't exactly remember where that was coming from or why I said that. I feel lost in the middle of this thought. Have you ever done that?
I do think I did it earlier in this podcast.
Nice.
I think I've done it about like 12 times.
All right. Well, jazz music is dope.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Okay.
It's not my point.
It's not
but
my
I really
favorite music, but it's
simple.
definitely not my least favorite.
Simplicity.
Mm.
The reason I enjoy jazz music is because it's always fresh and it's always new.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like when you start to understand the patterns of music, sometimes it's unfortunate because I spend all my time around music. You know, I go to work and I listen to music for a living.
Mm-hmm.
I come home, I listen to music, I produce music. Like, it's always music going. So I start to recognize patterns in my subconscious. So when I put on a song, I can it's like some people have that ability. I do this with movies as well. You watch a movie and you kind of understand like the pattern that's going to happen. You know, okay, well, it has to kind of go this way and then this is going to happen. Like, you can predict in the beginning, like, oh, this person's going to die.
Right.
You know, so when you start to understand those patterns, that's where for me, like, I sit down with jazz music, I'm like, yeah, I really enjoy this because there's not necessarily that pattern.
It's interesting you say that because, like, not even just in music, just the way people are. like in a human interaction, or the way people are interacting with each other, you can feel, just through observing.
Yes.
You can feel what type of relationship they have with each other,
Yes.
whether it's going well, going sour. Even if it's another language,
Yeah.
you can feel
It's that.
through body language, through intuition, if you will.
Yeah.
How
It's the tiny little things, right?
Mhm.
And some people just like pay attention to those things. Some people don't. I don't know. Like through my lens, that's what I spend an obscene amount of time paying attention to. So in that way, like there's positives and negatives to everything. So in that way, it takes away from my life because I have a hard time sometimes sitting down and listening to something simple or watching a TV show because it's predictable in that way. Because my mind will just break it apart and do this thing automatically.
have you seen Bandersnatch?
I have.
That you could see all the endings?
Yes. We watched it as a family.
Oh, what?
Yeah, we watched it as a family over Christmas, and
It's not a Christmas movie.
we're a weird family. we sat and we were like, everybody like took turns deciding
Yeah.
what to do, and it was maddening.
That is, like, as soon as you said something where you can predict, that was one that I just could not predict.
No.
It going that way.
No.
And I think that's like Black Mirror always does that sort of thing.
Yeah.
They're really good at producing content, movies, or TV shows.
TV shows, yeah.
I guess this one was considered a movie, right?
Yeah. The first ever interactive movie. First ever, I think.
Yeah.
So they're actually using like a more Tim Ferriss version of thinking, right? Where you actually reverse engineer. So you're like, everybody thinks this way, or when you watch a movie, most people approach it in this way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how do we do the opposite of that? And like, I'm a big fan of that sort of thinking where it's like, okay, well, everybody in music like they do a show this way, or they produce a record this way. How do you do something the opposite? Because I have always wanted to stand out. That's always like, I've always been, and I'm sure like a lot of people are these days, where I want to go exactly the opposite direction of the crowd. And again, positives and negatives and everything, but from a childhood age, because my dad is I don't know, maybe I'd call him rebellious or something. It's really hard to define him, but there's an edge of something in that was like passed down into me. And I feel that in life where I'm like, everything I do, I want to do the opposite. So I look at adults and I see the way they work, and I look at like, okay, they've done this, which has led them to this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, how do I avoid those things? Because I don't want to make the mistakes that are evident in people's lives.
And I think the simplest way
Yeah.
to avoid all of that is to do nothing the same.
Nothing at all. Totally break off.
And that sounds real complicated, but really it is it's very simple.
It's like you ask yourself in the moment, like you come up with a business idea. It's just like Tim Ferriss explains it in a really good way. I don't have his explanation, but it's just you look at what's normal, because the mass majority does what's normal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you have this
normal results. That's why the middle class quotation marks is generally everybody.
Yeah. And you talk about a town like our town, Saskatoon.
It really is a town.
It's a town.
100%. They say it's a city, but it's a town.
It's a town. It's small, big. If like you could think it's big, but it's small town mentality here.
Yeah.
And like in that
big town or a small city?
Yeah. Small city.
Tiny city.
Teeny tiny.
Tiny.
But wanting the infrastructure of a large city. Like the city is pushing for like, you could tell like when I first moved back from Vancouver here, I was like, yeah, they're trying to be Vancouver. That's what it looks like to me.
We'll never have taller buildings than what we have unless we one day somehow move the airport. because the flight path goes right over downtown. So we'll never have skyscrapers. That's why
Wow.
Regina has taller buildings than us, which would be really nice.
My dad heard us talking about him, and he's now calling. You can't see that.
That's trippy.
Should I put him on the podcast?
It's up to you.
I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
He would be a great guest, to be honest. Like,
Let's do it.
yeah. He's just a person who everybody in the world should just listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, spend my life being confused by him.
And one thing I want to prepare for, like, our future listeners, or, our audience, is that, it won't always be me and you on the podcast, which is great because, we're both going to be touring. We're both going to be performing. We're going to be in different areas of the world. So, for a lot of them will be me and you.
Yeah.
And then the next would be me, you, and a guest.
Yeah.
But sometimes maybe you'll be on the road. So then I'll have a guest. It'll just be me.
Yep.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
I'll be on the road and then you'll have a guest.
And I love that format. I love that flexibility. Because even, again, reverse engineering that thought. Well, maybe you're on the road and you run into, you meet somebody on the
Exactly.
road.
Right? And you don't want to be locked in to the point where it's like, man, I could have this person's attention for 2+ hours and learn from them, but dang, we don't have both of us here, so we can't do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And on that note, to be honest, I know that I want to do solo podcasts. Like I know that I have certain thoughts. Everyone, like I said, I go on my walks and I talk to myself and I have these certain thoughts and I'm like, that's a podcast episode.
Mm-hmm.
Just exploring that thought. So I know that I want to do solo ones as well where I'm just blabbing.
And that's not nice thing about this is we're using Anchor.
Yeah.
You can literally put headphones in, continue to walk,
Yeah.
record,
Yeah.
and it goes instantly.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I just
You
love
should do that.
I'm going to do that because those, like, sitting here and having this conversation is one thing. This is one state of mind, as we would call it.
Mm-hmm.
Walking in the early morning, just pounded some green tea,
Mm-hmm.
get my brain going, walking up to the river. I have the beautiful views around. That's a different state of mind. So I'm going to come up with different content there.
And I know you haven't been doing much of those walks
Yeah.
in the last couple days at least.
It's cold.
Yeah.
I'm being a bitch.
No, it's
It's
just,
cold.
it's, who put it? It's like, what is it? It's, why do I live in a place where the air hurts my face? Seriously, why did my grandparents choose Saskatoon? It's like, I love this city, but it's so damn cold.
They just wanted to challenge us.
It's fucking cold, man.
It's cold. Anyway.
But you know what? If you dress for it, it's not that bad.
No, it's not.
And I do have a hack,
Right? Okay.
a winter hack, and that's I love snowboarding. Okay. First and foremost, is there a phone?
No. Oh. Apparently my dad's on.
I heard a phone.
Hello? Good.
It's on the phone at the moment.
I'm
okay,
just
so I was taking a call.
filming a podcast.
So-
Can I call you back?
What was I saying? Oh man, I'm sorry, guys. This is interesting. So what just happened now is called in the hypnosis world is a pattern interrupt. We were in a pattern, and something interrupted that pattern. So you can use this on the day-to-day basis, and like, for instance, let's say somebody is very angry and upset. If you can interrupt that pattern by saying something maybe outrageous, or just maybe it's just like a random person who's really, really angry, and you'd be like, "Whoa, dude, what the hell is that?" He'll instantly snap out of it, look over there, and he'd be like, "Oh, I thought it was like I don't know what it was." He'll be instantly out of that pattern that he was just in.
I've actually used that strategy throughout my life in Sometimes you'll have an experience like that where somebody's angry, but they're angry at you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, whatever, you cut somebody off in traffic, or I don't know, a good example. Sure, cut somebody off in traffic, they fucking pull over or something, like they just feel like basically they're having a bad day or whatever it is, and they want to take it out on you. And in those scenarios, I've always found that what happens is that person really badly wants you to react. They want to fight, right?
They want you to feel as bad as they're feeling.
Exactly. They're like, yo, let's get into this and let's have it, because we don't go to war. Most people don't have intense workouts. Like, there's not places we're getting this anger out. So every once in a while it's like, oh, I'm going to take this fucking anger out on this person. They don't know they're doing that, obviously, but that's what they're like. So then they come up and they're like, ah. And what I've basically done every time in my life, because I'm the younger of two older brothers, so I've dealt with angry people, and I do what we're talking about before, reverse engineering. They want that. All I do is I go, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to bother. I'm so sorry that I annoyed you. I honestly, I didn't mean to do that. Like, I'm so sorry that I upset you. I flip it. I actually take power away from myself. I go into a vulnerable state, and I do the opposite of what they want. And instantly, like you said, that state changes them, because they're expecting a fight. They're ready for a fight. But I give them complete compassion, love, and I put myself down. I don't lift my energy up and go with their energy. I go, I'm sorry. Like, oh. And flawlessly every time in my life, they can't continue to be angry. They can't. There's just no way. So it's just in coming back with that energy that creates, then you're just like, then there's no point, because you're just both basically, I was going to say something derogatory, but basically you're just stroking each other's egos at that point. Like, there's no point. You're not going to have a good conversation. So if you can, like you said, break that state.
Yep.
And for me, my strategy's been give the opposite.
Interrupt that pattern.
Because they're...
Do something that's not expected.
Exactly.
And bring them out of that pattern that they have brought themselves into, and their brain is automatically running said program. And all you got to do is just knock them out of that program. Yeah. Whatever it may be. Yeah. Whether it's, like you said, or this maybe like 9 years ago or so. It's another town or city. We were out at a bar. Outside of the bar, I think we were either about to go in or about to leave. One of the two. Oh, no, we were about to leave. And there's this guy outside. He just wanted to fight. All he wanted was to find somebody and fight them. And he's like, who's it gonna be? Looking at everybody. And then he looked at me. And the funny thing is, we were in this different town, city. I want to say Red Deer. I really think it was Red Deer.
That makes sense.
We were there for a martial arts tournament. And we're all martial artists. He was like, straight up, he would have been destroyed. But this is what happened. Instead of fighting and going along with it, he went up to me and he's like, you want to fight? And I was like, dude, can I borrow this for a second? And I started to do some magic. I pulled a coin out of his shirt, and he instantly just forgot he was even angry. He is instantly hooked into it. I performed some more magic, just with a coin too.
Nice.
Like one single coin. And at the end of it, he gave me $20. So he went from, I'm going to fight you, to take my money.
That's the answer. That's the answer. Why,
Oh, man.
why fight fire with fire when you can fucking do the opposite? And that's just like, that's a metaphor for life right there. Period. Because life's going to fucking throw anger at you. It's going to throw things. And you're going to have 500,000, that's a lot, 5,000 scenarios, maybe more, when you're angry or when you have like something comes at you. The only thing you control is your reaction. So you have like 5 different pathways that you can choose in that moment.
That's the trick, man, is interrupting your own pattern.
There you go.
That's the toughest part.
There you go. So exactly. Which fucking just knowing, you have to know that there's all these pathways rather than like, oh, I always just react with anger to this person. Well, it's like in that moment, it's like, but wait, there's other shit. And like you said, interrupting that pattern. So if you can have a trick in your mind where every time you want to, and I've done that so much actually that I don't find that I get angry. I 100% every scenario where my body would have gotten angry, I now always put myself in the other person's shoes. I always, and it's purely in just wanting to grow myself as an individual, because I know that winning doesn't do anything. Maybe it does on a small thing, but I know losing, you get a lot more from losing. So I try to let people win as much as I can, because I would rather lose, because I'm going to gain more knowledge from that. So if that means instead of firing up my ego and becoming angry, to me it's
easier though.
To be angry?
100% it is easier.
Oh yeah.
Which is why so many people fall into that.
Absolutely.
I'm guilty of it.
Absolutely. It's easy. But if you can manage to, I'm going to get angry, instead like, well, why are they angry? Why are they freaking out? Like, what is happening in their life that's causing this reaction?
Right. Show a little bit of compassion and
we're all just fucking people. We're all just people. We're all reacting. We're all like, you start to understand life on this other level where it's not about me or you. You know, it's not like, well, fuck, Hadlin's getting mad at me. It's like, no, like we're all sort of victims of our own emotions. So what's happening in this moment, that can we sit down and can we have a real conversation about this? And come up with something. Well, we're not going to do that if we're yelling at each other. We're going to do that if we can dispel that and sit down. And likely at the end of that conversation, where we sit down, we dispel the anger, we're going to come out with something that is meaningful in our lives. And we're going to walk away and we're going to be like, yeah, that was a great conversation. We've needed to have that conversation forever. So if you can dispel the anger, dispel the ego, you're going to have the truth. And you're going to have the real conversations, because usually the anger is a lie. Usually the anger is hiding what's really going on. That's the only reason you're angry. You're like, I'm angry. I have no idea why, but I'm just fucking angry. I'm angry because of this thing. But then when you bring that down, you're like, well, I wasn't angry at that. I was actually just angry because things aren't going my way in life, and I'm not dealing with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Not accepting it.
Not accepting it.
Not taking it and owning it and
Yeah.
moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Anger, especially as males.
Have you failed?
Have I failed? I failed a lot.
What's your most recent failure?
This.
Just kidding. Oh shit. Episode 1.
Shots fired. No. Fuck. My most recent failure, falling madly in love. For me, like, that's where I fail the most. I'm not gonna lie, I try to fail, and I do succeed a decent amount, or like I'm just good at finding the success. Like the Freestyle Fridays, from day one, they've felt like successes to me. It doesn't feel like I'm failing, even though you could probably identify some failures in there, which, to be honest, probably I'm not taking big enough risks to really evaluate large failures, because the failures are minute in that sense. Like, I do a lot of risk taking, but I always find the successes within it. But going back to what I said, my weakness is love. My weakness is relationships. My weakness, my kryptonite is women. And that's where I fail hard and I learn the most. And I need to start bringing what I do there into my business life, where I take these leaps of faith. Marry my fucking work, because I take these leaps of faith in relationship. Hardcore. I'm a romantic. I fall. I don't get into relationships very often, but when I do, I'm like, this is, it's everything. I just give all of myself to it in such an intense way.
Bottomless hole that you just tripped and like.
It's deep. That hole is deep, and I fall all the way to the bottom. And I learn, like, I've learned the most from relationships, from these failures, quote unquote failures, but they're still successes, because I walk away and I learn explosive amounts of things from them. But yeah, like you said, marry my work. That's my next step, is marry the work and start taking bigger risks there so that I can have the same level of intensity of failures, because that's important. And what about you? What about Hadlin? Now you got me very curious. I'm like, shit, I'm not failing hard enough. How about you, Hadlin?
Well, I mean, this morning.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
There's this part of the workout where you're supposed to do these handstand against the wall kick-ups.
Yeah.
Or no, that one was fine. It was the handstand against the wall hold. You're supposed to hold it for 25 seconds. That was on round 4.
Yeah.
And on the last round, I went up and immediately over, and I smashed my foot into the railing and broke a bunch of nails.
Okay.
Because I didn't cut my nails on my toes for a long time.
Okay.
They're cut now. My bad. Yeah, that hurt a lot.
Yeah.
It was nice and early in the morning, and it was just a giant thud, and like I thought I woke the entire house up, and I held it in. I was like, but yeah. Anyways,
That's a good failure.
I waited for a minute or two. It took a longer rest than I was supposed to, but once the toes came back to life, I went back up and finished it off, I guess.
Keep going.
So that's like the most recent
Yes.
failure.
Yes.
Actually, if I want to go even more recent than that, we didn't start right at 4.
Nope.
That was a failure.
But okay, then let's identify like, because when I thought
just can't think of something as good as yours. Like you have a really good, like, heartfelt message that people are listening and they know more about you because of that. Like I couldn't think of something like that, you know?
Shit. Okay.
That was good.
Mm.
I don't know.
Well, that's just what you said, failures, and I'm like, well, what's been the biggest one? Because I'm trying to define the failure as basically almost a math equation where it's like, how much risk did you put in?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Go
and how
back
hard
to the mountains again. I wonder what that is.
It's like this camera.
Oh, there we go. That's another failure. Our camera is failing.
Our camera is failing. You're right.
Is it just? Oh, is it
There's a mode.
29 minutes?
Yeah, you're right.
Every 29 minutes.
No,
it
but
happens?
it's not recording, right?
But is it?
No, I don't
it
think
still?
so. I gotta pee so bad.
Just go.
Okay, Alan,
I'll take it from here.
take it from here, man.
I got this. I'm just gonna sit here silent when you're gone.
please do.
So, ladies and gentlemen, no, I actually won't stay silent this whole time. Yeah, this new podcast, I'm really excited about it because, yeah, there's 2 of us to bounce ideas off of, to motivate each other on, and keep each other accountable. Because, like, the first one that I ever did, Cerebral Mind Control podcast, that one was just me. I did everything from, like, all the audio stuff that Saul is, like, phenomenal at. I did all of that, but, like, at a lower level than Saul. So now, like, we have his expertise on audio. We have our combined expertise on video and lighting. And I mean, like, right now, the props that we have, we have the backdrop. We're dressing the space the best we can. And you're going to see our progression as the episodes go through. So every episode, you should hopefully see, hey, they added this, they added that, we improved this, we improved that. And throughout the entire journey, you guys are going to be along for the ride for that. So thanks for, who knows, maybe in the future, you're just like, this is January 18th. Maybe this is like January 18th, 2020. We're in 2020, and you're just finding this episode now, and you're like, hey, these guys are really good. I'm going to go back and start from episode 1. Maybe that's you. Maybe you just did that now. So hello. Welcome. What's up, Saul?
Cool. That's cool. That's a cool thought.
Well, that's what people do. Like,
You're right.
Like the Joe Rogan podcast. I know a lot of people that, maybe they found him on like episode 500 or even episode 1000.
They
And
went
they're
back.
Yeah, they go back right to the beginning. And what's interesting, you look at his, shittier than this. Like 100% shittier than this. The obviously it's Joe Rogan, so he's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
So just he carries it
Yeah.
as is.
Yeah.
But like the production of it,
Yeah.
it was like a webcam, and they were like messing with things on the screen. It was like
Right.
weird. So like,
And that's interesting. You want to see that. That's really like to go back to the
Right.
first and be
That-
like, oh shit.
that's why when we do a little few things here and it's not perfect, I'm like, doesn't have to be.
Honestly, I was thinking about it in the bathroom, and I was like, I love how casual we are in this. Like, we haven't really thought about. We didn't think about the questions that we were going to ask each other. We didn't think about how long this was going to be. We didn't really think about all those elements, like the camera. Like, we didn't do a test run or whatever. Like, this is the test
Kind of
run.
everything at the same time.
Yeah,
We're
it's kind
just there's a deep end and we just jumped in.
and I love that. I love that I can run to the bathroom for a couple seconds.
Dude, that's that. There you go. That is one of the best things about having
A co-host.
a co-host on this show is that you don't have to go through holding it in. You can just let it go, let it be. Go to
Yeah.
the washroom mid podcast, and it doesn't even matter.
Some would say it's unprofessional, but I think that
So
it's
you're just supposed to so those people that say it's unprofessional, they're then saying that you should hold back your natural bodily functions to make it more presentable and professional in appearance.
so then that begs the question, first date, you got to fart real bad. Are you letting that rip?
I am.
Okay.
I did.
Okay.
And she's still with me.
She's 6 years. 6 years
She's
later.
6 years old. No.
So that's
Her name's Terry Hong. She works here. She actually doesn't just work there. She's like, she runs the show there.
she's a dope lady.
Dope lady.
I understand. And he's a dope male and she's a dope female. I understand how they still going for 6 years. And I respect that. I
Mhm.
really do. You know why I'm not single? Or you know why I'm single? Is because I'm not farting on that first date. I'm not letting her rip.
Yeah, dude. You just gotta.
That's a lie.
You gotta like fucking push that thing out to the point where like there's a little bit coming out of the backside, and you're just like, ooh, I gotta change.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Dating advice from
Hadlin.
Hadlin. So we'll have lots of dating advice on our podcast if you're looking for that.
How to make it to at least 6 years. You fart under the covers, over the covers, everywhere, and just everywhere. Doesn't matter.
I'm more of like a slow burner. Like I build up to that. Although the last one I was in, it was like we were so comfortable instantly. Like you meet people throughout this life, and you're like, when you meet them, you're like, do I already know you? How do I know you? I've met you. I've known you for a week. I've known you for a month. How do I know you better than some people who've been in my life for years and years and years?
Right.
So it was like that, right? So that one was more like, yeah, fart right away, whatever. Like we're already deep in it.
Like if I'm being honest, I've already farted on this podcast, and you guys just haven't heard it.
You know what that means, guys? This is gonna last at least 6 years.
This is our first date.
This is our first date right here.
Oh no.
So how do we end this?
We just end. I don't know. That's it.
I'm having too much fun.
You
to end.
you have like,
I
you have a gig right away.
I perform this evening in a couple hours.
Mm-hmm.
It would be nice to play through some songs. I haven't written a set list.
Mm-hmm.
I am a procrastinator when it comes to performance sometimes. Other times I'm like, practice a million times and I perform. But like lately I've been waking up and just getting right into everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like not getting my habits done, whatever. So I've been doing the Freestyle Friday, having meetings with different people, and just in general, not having time for myself this last week, which gets kind of it takes over when you don't have time for yourself. I find, like, when you just have to get up and spring into action, spring into work mode, and then it's kind of like work all day, and that's the whole week. So
Unless your work is,
yes,
you know,
yeah, which is almost. I'm like pretty much there,
mm-hmm.
but
you're right at the cusp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now I'm just like spreading
what?
Well, just the I don't know. Spreading. I'm spreading the bullshit. That's all. I'm just peeling back the layers.
Okay. I just got you swimming through Bull's feces.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how I saw it in my mind.
Visual, yeah.
Yeah. Good. Good. That's what I'm doing. Is like there's all this stuff happening in my life, and I'm just slowly swimming through it.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'm gonna get a floaty, a pool floaty eventually.
Yeah, it's just like it's a giant ocean.
Yeah.
And like it's almost like a video game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this magical ocean.
Yeah.
You know, this has a layer of shit.
Yes.
And you're swimming through
yes.
it. Right?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, there's like this clear water over there. And you're almost there.
And we're talking like, when we say clear water, we're talking
you
like.
got your hand in the clear water. You
Yeah.
splash the clear water. It's coming on. And you're like, you're feeling it. You're smelling. You're like, oh, that's way better. I'm going to be clean soon.
Yes, I'm still flush with feces behind me. And I'm touching the crystal clear waters of like Bali. There's some like Bali water ahead of me.
Mm-hmm. And it's like a perfect line. Right? Where they don't mix somehow magically.
Like our perfect line here.
Right?
We don't mix.
That's right.
Stay on your side.
Okay.
I guess this as a podcast.
Oh, I crossed it. My bad.
As a podcast, the people don't see. The people who are here auditorily are not seeing the line.
But they'll see it in their heads.
Okay. Visualize a wall between
An invisible wall.
Yes.
Just like that.
Yes. Okay. Now I feel like. Who's there?
Oh no. Okay, let's just stop that right there.
And that's the podcast.
Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you for tuning in.
And the singer in the podcast. The singer in the singer and the hypnotist.
We actually never introduced the name.
We didn't? Are you sure?
Well, maybe we did. That was a long time ago. I'm the singer.
And I'm the hypnotist. And this is our podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week. And we got some crazy things coming. Like, there's going to be like this extremely long form version, which we're only going to tease, but it's kind of like a TV show, kind of like a podcast, kind of like everything together. So you're going to want to tune into that because we're going to be creating and producing live content for not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4 hours, but like 6+ hours.
Yes.
And in a few months, it'll be 12 hours. And we're going to be doing that once per month on this Twitch channel. So those of you listening, the only way that you're going to be able to get access to that is if you go onto twitch.tv/thesinger-and-the-hypnotist. Of course, we're going to show snippets. Of course, we're going to display snippets on Anchor, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify Podcasts. But if you want the full experience, you got to go to twitch.tv/thesinger-and-the-hypnotist.
Yes. Yeah, I'm very excited for that. That's, I feel like, in a sense, what we're building up to. Like, the podcast allows us to dive into some really cool stuff, but that I think that's gonna really display the talent in this city on another level.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stoked.
Featuring performances by Saul, the singer.
And Hadlin, the hypnotist.
There we go.
All right. Oh, that was his broken hand too, and he went in for it.
Dude, it's getting a lot stronger. Like, I needed to give it that rest. I almost broke my wrist, I think. I went, okay, so I want you guys to imagine, for those of you listening, that you go up to a door and you're going to push the door open with your arm straight and then your palm on the door. And you push that door open with force because you think it's going to open, but in fact, it's locked. And I pushed with a little bit of, not a lot of force behind it.
A little bit of gusto.
A little bit of gusto. There you go. And yeah, my wrist has been screwed up ever since. And that's been about 45 days ago now.
That's that was a good failure.
Yeah. And I still cannot do push-ups or put any pressure. Like, obviously that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I can't throw cards at the moment. I will be able to soon. But yeah, like, there's a lot of exercise. That's why I'm on a new workout program where it's all body weight, 100% body weight.
That's not a bad place to start.
And, I rested it for a good month, allowed it to heal. But at the same time, it's losing strength. So now it's time to implement more strength. So stuff that would require your palm on the ground, I'm now doing them with fists. So that handstand I was telling you about earlier, I fell over because I was on my fists and because it was round 4 and my arms were shaking. But yeah, like, just the surface area of your fist on the ground versus your hand, you have way more balance with your hand.
Displacement of weight, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because these are like, when you're doing handstands, these are your toes.
Those are your toes?
Right.
Yeah.
Try stand without your toes. It's a little difficult.
We'll get there. That's part of the podcast. Is every week we're going to do handstands. And whoever can last the longest wins.
Well, I think you got me beat right now, but I'm catching up.
I win. Just kidding. It's not good to win. If you were listening to the full podcast, it's better to lose. So right now he's winning because
I'm winning
he's
by losing.
Yeah. He's learning more.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
You know what's funny is some people probably tuned out because they think the podcast ended already.
Yeah,
when in fact we went into the post-credit scene.
Well, thank you for sticking around till the end if you did. Well,
they definitely did if they heard that.
Okay. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad that Hadlin's here to catch my word slip-ups.
I'm here listening very carefully.
I can't even get that close to my mic. My mouth is on it right now.
Oh, no, don't do that.
Don't eat the microphone. No, don't do that.
Oh, no, yeah, there's a podcast out there where they had a special certain guest that did something similar to that.
Oh, I don't like it. No.
I'll show you.
Okay. Okay.
All right, guys.
I'm the
Thanks
singer.
for tuning in.
That's the hypnotist. We're the singer and the hypnotist.
That's who we are. And that's what this is. It's our podcast.
Thank you.
Cheers, everybody.
Peace.
We just end it right there, right?